But I will not give them that privilege today. We'll just move on to that feature that we told you our reporter Dennis Matara filed, and it's all about some of the issues that cancer patients are suffering from and dealing with on a day-to-day basis. And for the last couple of months, the country has lost several prominent individuals to cancer. This despite the high-profile individuals accessing quality healthcare both locally and abroad. Now, in Embu County, the disease is wreaking havoc to the poor, most of who are unable to access quality healthcare. And Dennis Matara spent some time with several cancer patients in a remote village in Embu County where access to cancer medication is only just but a dream. Now, here is Dennis Matara with the strands of pain.
Margaret Mbuya from Gangare village, Mbere in Embu County, sits patiently as she waits for help to come. She is suffering from breast cancer. She underwent surgery to remove one of her breasts in an effort to save her from the life-threatening disease. But her health keeps getting worse each day. Her only hope is her daughter, Mary.
Wakati nilienda huko nikaelezewa mambo ya chemotherapy na hiyo nikaelezewa conditions za hiyo, mimi nilishindwa kwa sababu singepata pesa.
She was scheduled to undergo 8 chemotherapy sessions. She managed 2, but several months behind schedule, Margaret has no money to continue.
NHIF, ile hospitali tuko, niyo na hata huko general, hizo dawa ni kununuliwa. Na hizo zenye tulikuwa tumeandikiwa huko Kenyatta, hasipatikani huko. Tuseme, kama hizo walikuwa napigwa CT scan, hiyo inahitaji 10,000. Na ameandikiwa hiyo brain CT scan, chest CT scan, na ameandikiwa abdominal CT scan. Sasa unapata mpaka ungonje venye wao wanaenda wakiapprove. Hata kama ni mgonjwa, hata kama amezindiwa, inabidi unangonjea kwa sababu utapata hiyo pesa. Yes, unataka atibiwe haraka, lakini kama una pesa ya kulipa hizo picha utafanya nini?
She relies on her small mirror farm to get money for medication, but still cancer wants more. Her story of pain, as narrated by her daughter, leads us to another home in her village. Here, we find yet another cancer patient, Halima Washuka, silently scrolling through her WhatsApp messages, checking on her favorite WhatsApp group, Limau.
Kuna hiyo group tuko, naitwa Limau, tuko na kuna cancer survivors, they wanaambiana story yao.
Halima, a single mother now, after life went sour, picked her 6-year-old daughter and went to live with her mother in Embu.
Mara ya kwanza I was diagnosed. Watu wakajua, Washika yuko na cancer. Nini? Kila mtu alikuwa anamuona hapa. Siku hizo unaweza kaa hata miezi hujaiona mtu. It is like they wanted to see what cancer is.
Her story with cancer started with a painless pimple on one of her breasts. She felt unease with the pimple, so she decided to get checked.
Ule daktari nilipewa taniafiri ni clinical officer. Akaniandikia ultrasound. Kwenda kwa ultrasound, nikaambiwa kuja after 3 months.
But as she waited for the appointment date, the pimple grew bigger and faster.
Nikirudisha results, nikaambiwa kumepatikana kitu, lakini utakuja after 2 weeks.
Halima finally got to see an oncologist.
Huyo daktari ndio, it was vile aliniambia, it was hata leo sipendi kukumbuka vile aliniambia. Cause aliniambia, nyinyi mnakujaga wakati mambo imekuwa mbaya. Akaniambia, let me call a spade. Wewe uko na cancer.
At this point, Halima knew things were getting tough on her as she stopped working and all her savings depleted.
Kuna hiyo test ya 26,000 ilikuwa imesema I'm HER2 positive. So ikabidi sasa nitafute hiyo Herceptin. So I was like, aniambia hapa kwetu Herceptin ni 250,000. So sasa sijui nitakusaidia aje. At that moment niliona yani dunia nikaa imeisha. Hata kama NHIF iko, kuna test kama hiyo 26,000 unaambiwa sijui fanya ingine gani. Kama ukilini NHIF ukiwapaia unapata CT scan 2. Pengine for nini unatakiwa ine, unaona? Inasaidia, yes, ikatai, but cancer it is very expensive.
The only hospital near Embu that will be affordable was Embu Level 5 Hospital. But here, getting an oncologist or any cancer-related medication was a tough nut to crack.
Embu sijasikia mahali kuna kimo. Unasikia hata kama ni hiyo level 5, kama ni hiyo CT scan, nishaiandikiwa tena ultrasound. Unaenda kubuka ultrasound, naambiwa kuja after 3 months.
Joyce Mudhoni and Lucia Mudhoni lost their mother, Catherine Mudhanje, in 2018 to pancreatic cancer. She was a single mother, working as a civil servant to fend for her 3 children. She worked hard and put up this house for her family. But before she could put final touches to the house, cancer knocked in her life.
Sometimes we go to general, level 5. One time we went to level 5 for almost 3 hours. Nobody attended us. We needed that medicine for mom. By the time we got home, she was kneeling because of pain.
Their mother sought the help of doctors in Kenyatta National Hospital and Nairobi West Hospital. But when her hopes were still high, one doctor literally killed her hopes of getting better.
So one oncologist, I'm sorry, I have to say this, asked Madhe, unaenda India kufanya nini na unakufa? I mean, that is when everything fell apart. She came back home crying from the gates. Akakuja akatuambia hataki dawa. She doesn't want anything because she's dying.
Somebody referred her to Dr. Wamiti Shamba at that time. So they came here like, okay, let's meet. You know, cancer can be cured by carrots and beetroot juice. You have just to take that one, and a very funny concoction. She was actually given ingredients to make a certain concoction with wheat and 6 cloves of garlic. Yeah, and if it ferments, now you sweep the top of it, you know, and you draw the other part, and then it ferments again.
When things got worse, they decided to seek help from the only available palliative care facility in Embu.
Counseling is very key here. At least we make sure one understands the disease and how you're going to live with it, and even the after effects of the disease when all the chemotherapy surgery are over.
We manage the symptoms and we try to alleviate your pain. We ease your pain, control your pain, manage your system. Not necessarily kill you. The hospital is not kill. We prolong life up to whatever we can.
But the facility is also financially broke.
Sasa kama chemotherapy, tulienda tukaambiwa ni kitu ya daily service. Na ni Kenyatta. Hauna relative Nairobi. Sasa hata kukaa huko utakaa wapi? Pesa zenyewe ni shinda. So ukiongezea kwenda accommodation huko nini, kukula huko nini, mafare ya kwenda huko, na ni mgonjwa, kwa hivyo hata waweza kucommute. Naona sasa inakuwa ni shinda. Mimi nilikuwa naomba kama ikiwezekana hii hospice wakuwa equipped na hizo mambo ya kuangalia hiyo mambo ya cancer. Itakuwa imetusaidia sana.
These patients attribute their suffering to oncologists and hospitals who seem to care less about cancer.
I don't think we'll ever see a counselor again after that. Because the woman I met in the name of palliative care, I'm even scared of Kenyan counselors still today. She was like, your mother is going to die in 2 weeks. Did you know?
The doctors we have, it's kind of they don't care. I mean, people are taking cancer patients for business.
Most hospitals do not have oncologists, but general medical practitioners who have little knowledge on how to deal with cancer patients. Little knowledge. Cancer has always been referred to as a lifestyle disease that is affecting people in urban areas due to their lifestyle. However, Right now, it is considered as one of the diseases that is affecting people in the villages, among them the poorest who do not even know what is cancer. Dennis Matara, K24, Embu County.
Now that is the feature that ran yesterday night on our sister bulletin, that is K24's evening edition, filed by Dennis Matara. And some of the issues that are emerging courtesy of that report, would like just to understand even his personal feel in as far as the coverage of this particular feature is concerned. And he joins me right here in studio. Thank you so much, Dennis, for coming in for the Daily Brief. Just let us know from a reporter's point of view some of the issues you were able to identify that exactly did not find way to your piece.
Now, there is one fact. All these are poor people, and it is getting them even poorer every single day. The fact that they are seeking medication, some of them do not even know what they're supposed to do. They get to an oncologist or maybe to a hospital, they don't know what is it. And then they are pushed from one doctor to another, hoping that probably something good will come about. But because they don't have money, they go back home and wait for help to come. And cancer gets worse each day.
Each and every day.
Yes.
Without even casting aspersions to the medical fraternity, has there been a lack of a proper approach in the way the medical fraternity is handling cancer patients, even from an information point of view?
There is something that I also noted. Of course, we are always told that it's always good to have tests for you to maybe to at least know signs of cancer early. There is one of the patients, that is Halima. She said that she went for tests early enough, according to her. And she had a pimple and she felt like it wasn't...
On her breast?
Yes.
Yeah.
It wasn't that serious, but she felt it's something that she needed to check. And then what she was told is that now you need to go and do some CT scan and all that. And because, of course, as I say, they are poor, they are not able to get maybe to private hospitals where they can get attention faster. They have to rely on their NHIF. And on that, they have to go for a booking. And for that has to be approved first before someone goes for the CT scan. And it takes like 2, 3, or even sometimes months.
It's a process.
It's a process.
Yeah.
And that makes even it worse. Because for her, by the time now she was going for the test, that pimple had already grown into a boil that it was something big. So she's feeling, if at all she got that attention, that particular moment she went to the doctor, probably
things would be different.
Things would be different.
We've had a very reckless statement in your
Yes.
in your feature, Matara, where one of the people you featured said that the mother came home crying because she was told, "Watu unaenda India kufanya nini na unakufa."
That was one of the painful moments in that interview, because that is a family who had lost a mother to cancer. And they were just retelling all the happenings before their mother died. And they're saying at one point they had raised funds because they felt like maybe they were not getting the attention, the medical attention that maybe their mother needed. They wanted to take her to India for further treatment. So before that happens, according to them, is that their mother was a civil servant and needs some papers to be cleared and signed before she could be allowed to travel abroad for treatment. So they went to one oncologist who was actually attending to them to sign the papers so that they can also get passport for medical attention abroad. And then when they went to this oncologist, they're saying that the oncologist actually did not even want to sign. Told them to face, you do not need to go anywhere because you're dying. And according to them, that is one point that broke their mother completely, because she even lost the hope. And they feel like probably she could have lived longer, but at that moment, she
lost the strength
She stopped
to fight.
all the medication that she had. She refused going for chemo and all that because she believed now she was going to die.
And one of the principles that guide our profession, Matara, is that we are told to separate ourselves from the story. So this next question could require you to literally involve yourself with the story and just tell us, as a human being, what are the issues you were able to pick up from Embu?
The fact is, those are just 3 cases that we featured, but there are many cases. Like from one family to another, there is a case. Someone will tell you of a friend, a colleague, or a relative. The cases are many. We focused our feature mostly in Mbeere side of Embu, but there are more, of course, even to the Meru side and all that. And there is need for palliative care centers. Not necessarily, yes, of course, for treatment, but to take care of these patients who may not get the chance or the money to go for chemo and all that, because with the palliative care, they will need to be taken care of in a manner that can prolong life, in a manner that can give them even hope to even heal and reduce some of the pain, or rather the pain that they really go through every single day.
Of all the stories you could have done, Dennis, why strands of pain?
Cancer is now a fact that it is a serious disease that is taking over, let's say the country so far. We've heard of leaders, we've heard of senior people, but I chose, what about the poor people in the villages? There are people also who are suffering, because in the news, mostly, you will always hear us having news about so-and-so died, but you'll never hear a story of someone who, let's just say, a nobody somewhere in the village.
Mashinani.
Yes. Nobody talks about them. These people are also suffering. So I wanted to bring out this pain that they go through so that something can be done. Embu Level 5 also need to be equipped. They are in the process, yes. Once we spoke to the management, they're in the process of equipping and ensuring that there are oncologists and, of course, the palliative care nurses to take care of that. But it is not yet done. More needs to be done. And not Embu alone. And, of course, that is just a tip of the iceberg. There are many other places. Cancer facilities have to be built.
Right. Yeah. And if someone was to challenge you to just embark on day 2 journalism, you know, just follow up on some of the issues that arise courtesy of your report, what would you give priority to?
I will focus on, now from this point, you need to look at research, especially focusing on the African continent and the cancer that is affecting the African, the blacks. In some of the researches, the reports that I was reading, is that they're saying that the cancer strands that affect mostly in the African continent may not be in the same way as those maybe in the elsewhere. So new research need to be done focusing on this. And of course, when we were doing this, and remember that this is an area that is common with the Mira, Mogoka, and all that, there is something that we need to look at. The people who grow this Mogoka, the people who grow this Mira, they actually are people, they're actually using pesticides and all that. But for the fun of Mira, when they get it, what do? You pluck it and just chew it.
That's true.
As it is. Remember, you've not washed, like probably we could always wash tomatoes and all that. But this one, they just take it. And remember, this is one of the causes. It is not proven, but this is one of the causes, because you're taking the pesticides and all this. And this is where research needs to focus on.
And I like the fact that you even brought up in your report that part about that patient who came back home and they just decided to rely on carrot juice, beetroot juice, you know, all this manner of juices. And there is a school of thought out there that argues out that it helps in management of cancer. Even others believe it treats cancer. I won't ask you whether it's true, because you're not a medic, but it could be one of the interesting areas to just delve into.
You know, when we were talking to one of the palliative care givers, and of course some oncologists, they're saying that is a myth, because there is nothing specific about it. But what they always say, that any cancer patient, you are free to follow a path that you feel your body will need. As much as, yes, it needs to be controlled, there are some foods that you're not supposed to take. But they're saying, if you're told not to take, let's say, ugali, if you're told not to take rice and not to take this, what if the things that you're told to take, your body doesn't, you don't feel that you can take them? You will die of hunger. So they're saying it is okay. If you feel you can take rice, but you're told not to take it, but in moderation, so that you prolong life and at the same time, of course, make sure that you take your medication and all that.
Absolutely.
Yes.
Dennis Matara, thank you so much. A fantastic job you did, and I'm
Thank
very
you.
sure we will be expecting much more from you in the course of time.
Yes,
very soon on Wednesday.
Actually, tomorrow we're also having another one on blood pressure, that is hypertension. So be sure to watch. It will be also one of the area that you need to check your blood pressure, because you never know. They say if you have low blood pressure, you will know. But if it is high, you may not know until disaster strikes.
Wow. Health Unlimited tomorrow.
Yes, sure.
Thank you so much, and all the best with key issues that have emerged from this particular report that was filed by Dennis Matara, and a critical angle that on palliative care. What quality of guidance is given by the medical fraternity, even when it comes to the quality of palliative care that cancer patients should enjoy, both in palliative care centers as well as right there at home. Definitely issues that keep emerging, and we shall keep laying focus on them as and when we get an opportunity to shed light on those matters. Right now, I'd like to take you to Parliament, and we've got the Public Investments Committee of the National Assembly this day. You know, it's a meeting of the National Housing Corporation, and they will be laying some issues about the audited accounts as well as other audit queries that may arise courtesy of that. So let's cross over to Parliament and listen in to what is happening so far.
Equally, every member of parliament here is represented more or less along this particular. We have members of parliament from all these areas. If they as well see things that are actually in contradiction to what is here, then of course. And the reason why I asked for a search, I know that they don't have the title, but it is only prudent as well for you to be able, especially now. And you said that it's being prepared by a consultant. You hired a consultant to do all this work?
Chair, for the PDPs, yes.
And then after PDP level,
Chair, they would process usually through to the titling.
No, I understand. The PDP is a part development. So after the PDP level, which is now being done by a consultant, then thereafter, do they bring these documents to you?
Yes, Chair. Okay. But then they would also get the letters of allotment, and then we progress on to the leases.
Okay, so it's important for us to be able to get each and every one of these, a proper detailed breakdown, and then the Office of the Auditor General as well to be able to confirm through the sector auditors on those sides that this is actually the true status. Together with yourself, you have office manager, well, I think sectional managers in different areas who will be able to give you a true position. With that as well, please do let them know that we have members of parliament as well who will be visiting, and equally as well that they have they are from these particular areas as well. All right. Okay.
Mr. Chairman, that is not enough, because already I have brought evidence to the committee that the government properties are being taken away. And the properties we are talking about were built in the 60s, maybe even before some of us were born. And they are now being taken away. And in those 60 years to date, we are talking about 50-something years. Allotment, people are still talking about allotment when everybody in the Busia has a title deed. That's why people are taking advantage, in fact, possibly using those consultants. Now, it may be the consultants who are selling these plots to these people. So, having reported this to the committee, I think these are living examples that the committee should make an effort just to visit this one and possibly make arrangements of making sure that you also know what is happening in other areas.
What we will do, CEO, is we will probably arrange amongst ourselves to divide ourselves in enough to have a quorum. We will divide ourselves in teams and allow you as well to do the same with your team, so that we can be able to do this and actually get the physical verification of this. My concern is nothing else. My concern is that I'm actually concerned that some of these particular documents, some of these parcels of land, whether they already have title deeds belonging to someone else's name. It's not that it's actually something that has not happened. It has happened. With your Mavoko case, and that is the one that at least we know is currently in court. Yes, Paul. Maybe so we can move on to the next item.
Make a request through the CEO. You have regional managers on the ground. Why don't they give you a detailed report on the current status of all these parcels of land? So that next time you come here, you give us this report with detailed information instead of giving us piecemeal information. Thank you.
I think the way that this particular thing has been reported is actually can cause belief that there's an element of misleading. The way you have reported this here. And now, if we now actually ask you one by one, is when you're saying that no, this was built in this date, this was done in this date. So if we can be able to get things that are more detailed and current status. This is as of January 2019, this particular report. So maybe what should have happened is, considering that you were coming here today, the regional manager should have given you, because Honorable Wanjala was saying that this is an instance of yesterday.
Yes, yes.
By yesterday, someone was building. We don't even know whether that person who is building there, whether that person has already managed to grab a title. It's very, very, you would rather, as a department, because this, you're talking about 1.1 billion, including appreciation. I'm looking at.
And from Parliament, we return right here in studio. It's time to actually bring the daily brief to a close. There's once we stood here and we told you that everything we'll be doing will be amplified to the power of 24. Well, it's what's on, and thank you for watching the daily brief. I will now be handing you over to Caroline Jenga, who will be taking us through the business headlines of the day. Karibu sana.
Asante sana.
What can we expect from you?
Well, we have lined up a lot for you. We have an interview later on where we'll be focusing on the recycling business in Kenya. And we're looking at how we can manage waste from here in the country and also across Africa.
Well then, enjoy the last word on business. I'll see you at 1 p.m. Take it away.
Well, now we look at how the business has been doing across the country and also across the board. But this is after this short break.